The acid rain fell harder now, eating through metal and stone like hungry teeth. Sergeant Marcus Chen pressed his face against the cracked window of the abandoned building and watched the alien ships lift off in panic. The Vorthak were running again, just like they always did when humans pushed back. Through his helmet's display, Chen could see the enemy retreat clearly. Fancy hover platforms loaded with stolen goods floated toward the massive alien ships. The purple-skinned Vorthak soldiers moved fast, throwing crates and boxes onto their transports. They were leaving everything behind that could not help them fight. Then Chen saw something that made his blood boil. On one of the floating platforms, a tall female alien in golden armor stood next to a cage. Inside that cage was the biggest lion Chen had ever seen. The animal's golden fur was dirty and matted, heavy chains wrapped around its neck and legs. The lion looked tired and scared. The alien female was Princess Zalthyra. Chen knew her face from the briefing files. She collected rare animals from planets the Vorthak conquered. Earth animals were her favorite prizes. She liked to show them off to other alien nobles before she killed them for sport. The princess looked at her watch and said something to her guards in their clicking language. Chen could not understand the words, but he understood her actions. She pointed at the lion's cage and made a cutting motion across her throat. Then she walked away toward another platform. The guards grabbed the cage and threw it onto a smaller platform that was already sinking. The acid lake below was rising fast from the storm. In minutes, the platform would go under the poisonous water. The lion would die slowly as the acid burned through the cage and then through its body. Princess Zalthira laughed as she climbed onto her personal ship. She did not look back at the drowning animal. Chen's radio crackled. "Alpha Team, fall back to the extraction point. Enemy retreat confirmed. Do not pursue." But Chen was already moving. He jumped through the window and ran toward the rising lake. His powered armor would protect him from the acid for a while, but not forever. The servos in his legs pushed him faster than any normal human could run. "Chen, where the hell are you going?" His squad leader's voice was angry. "There's a civilian down there, sir," Chen lied. He could not explain that he was risking his life for an animal. The army would think he was crazy. The platform was already half underwater when Chen reached the shore. The lion was roaring now, a deep sound full of fear and anger. It clawed at the cage bars, but the Vorthak metal was too strong. Chen did not think. He jumped. The acid water hit his armor like liquid fire. Warning lights flashed red in his helmet display. The armor would hold for maybe 5 minutes before it started to fail. He had to move fast. Swimming through acid was like swimming through thick oil. Every movement was slow and hard. Chen's muscles burned with effort as he fought his way to the sinking platform. The lion saw him coming and stopped roaring. Its yellow eyes watched Chen with something that looked like hope. The cage was locked with an alien device that Chen did not recognize. He pulled out his plasma cutter and began burning through the metal bars. The tool worked slowly underwater, and Chen could feel his armor getting weaker. Small holes were already forming in the joints. The lion seemed to understand what Chen was doing. It moved to the back of the cage and stayed very still. When the first bar came free, the animal pushed its nose through the gap and touched Chen's helmet. It was saying, "Thank you," in the only way it could. More bars came free. The lion was huge, bigger than any normal lion should be. Its muscles were thick and powerful. Strange scars on its head looked like old surgery marks. The aliens had done something to this animal, but Chen did not have time to wonder what. The platform tilted and started to go under fast. Chen grabbed the lion around its chest and activated his armor's emergency thrusters. They shot up through the acid water like a rocket. The lion did not fight or panic. It seemed to trust the strange human who had come to save it. They broke the surface just as Chen's armor began to fail completely. Acid started leaking through the cracks, burning his skin. The lion was heavy, too heavy for the thrusters to carry them both to shore. They were going to fall back into the acid, but the lion had other plans. It twisted in Chen's arms and grabbed a piece of floating metal debris with its claws. Using its powerful legs, it kicked them both toward the shore. The animal was swimming and pulling them to safety. They crashed onto the rocky beach together. Chen's armor was smoking and falling apart. Acid burns covered his arms and legs. But they were alive. The lion stood up and shook itself dry. Then it did something that surprised Chen completely. The huge animal walked over and sat down next to him, like a guard dog protecting its master. When Chen's squad arrived minutes later, they found the strangest sight of the war. A wounded human soldier and a lion, sitting together by the acid lake, both looking up at the alien ships disappearing into the stormy sky. "What the hell is that thing?" asked Corporal Williams. Chen looked at the lion. The animal looked back at him with intelligent eyes that seemed almost human. "I think," Chen said slowly, "he's my new partner." The medical bay smelled like antiseptic and burned metal. Chen lay on the narrow bed while Dr. Martinez cleaned his acid burns. The pain was bad, but not as bad as watching the medical team try to examine his new companion. The lion would not let anyone near Chen except the doctor. When Corporal Williams tried to bring Chen food, the big cat stood up and growled low in its throat. When a nurse wanted to check Chen's bandages, the lion blocked her path with its massive body. "This is crazy," said Colonel Harper, watching through the window. "We can't have a wild animal running around the base." "He's not wild," Chen said. The lion's ears twitched at the sound of Chen's voice. "Look at him. He knows what we're saying." Dr. Martinez finished with the bandages and stepped back. The lion immediately moved closer to Chen's bed and lay down on the floor. Its yellow eyes never stopped watching the door. "The animal has surgical scars," the doctor said quietly. "Someone operated on its brain. There are metal implants under the skull." "The aliens did experiments on him," Chen said. He reached down and touched the lion's head. The animal leaned into his hand like a house cat. "They made him smarter." Colonel Harper was not happy. "Intelligence wants to study it. They think the implants might be valuable technology." "No." Chen's voice was hard. "He stays with me." "Sergeant, that's not your decision to make." The lion seemed to understand the angry voices. It stood up and moved between Chen and the colonel. The message was clear. Anyone who wanted to hurt Chen would have to go through 400 pounds of enhanced predator first. Chen had an idea. "Sir, what are the rules about war salvage?" The colonel frowned. "Personal equipment abandoned by the enemy can be claimed by the soldier who recovers it, within reason." "Why?" "The princess left him to die. I rescued him. By military law, he's mine." "A lion is not equipment, Sergeant." "Tell that to the Vorthak," Chen said. "They treat him like a weapon. Those implants make him military hardware." Colonel Harper looked frustrated, but Chen was right about the rules. After an hour of arguments with headquarters, the decision came down. Chen could keep the lion, but both of them would be watched carefully. The next few days were strange. Chen named his companion Apex, after the big cat's obvious position as nature's perfect hunter. The lion seemed to like the name. When Chen said Apex, the animal's ears would perk up and its tail would twitch. Apex was incredibly smart. He learned the layout of the human base in one day. He knew which soldiers were friends and which ones to avoid. When the base sirens warned of incoming artillery, Apex would find Chen and push him toward the nearest bunker before the first shells hit. "How does he know?" asked Williams after Apex saved them from a surprise attack. "He can smell the explosives in the air," Chen explained. "Those implants made his senses even better than a normal lion." But Apex's most useful skill was detecting Vorthak infiltrators. The aliens sometimes sent shape-changing spies into human camps. They looked like people, but they could not hide their scent from Apex's enhanced nose. 3 times, The lion quietly alerted Chen to enemy agents trying to poison the water supply or plant bombs. The bond between human and lion grew stronger every day. Chen shared his military rations, even though Apex needed fresh meat. The lion would eat the processed food without complaint, then go hunting for small animals in the jungle around the base. At night, Chen would tell Apex stories about Earth. He talked about the African savannas where lions had lived for thousands of years. He described the great herds of zebras and antelope, the endless grasslands under the hot sun. Apex would listen with his head on his paws, making soft, rumbling sounds that almost seemed like he was remembering something. "I think he dreams about Africa," Chen told Dr. Martinez. "Sometimes he moves his legs in his sleep like he's running." "The implants might have unlocked genetic memories," the doctor said. "His brain could be accessing instincts that go back thousands of years." Chen learned to read Apex's body language. A flick of the ears meant danger coming from the left. A low growl meant enemy soldiers nearby. A gentle head bump meant I'm hungry or I want attention. Apex learned human signals too. Chen's hand gestures told the lion when to hide, when to attack, and when to stay close. They developed their own silent communication that worked better than radio. The other soldiers started to accept their unusual teammate. Apex never showed aggression toward humans unless they threatened Chen. The big cat was gentle around the base, often letting homesick soldiers pet his fur while they talked about their families back on Earth. "He's like a therapy animal," said Private Johnson, scratching behind Apex's ears. "I feel better when he's around." But Chen knew their peaceful time would not last. Princess Zalthyra was still out there, and she would want her property back. The reports from intelligence were clear. The alien princess was gathering a hunting party, hiring the best trackers and soldiers money could buy. "She's coming for him," Chen told Apex one evening. They sat together outside the base, watching the sunset through the alien sky. "She thinks you belong to her." Apex looked at Chen with those intelligent yellow eyes. The lion's expression seemed to say, "Let her come. I know where I belong now." Chen put his hand on the lion's head. The fur was warm and soft under his fingers. "We'll be ready for her, partner. Whatever happens, we face it together." In the distance, alien ships moved across the horizon like dark birds. The war was far from over, and their greatest test was yet to come. The message came at dawn, broadcast on all frequencies. Princess Zalthyra's voice was cold and angry as it echoed through the human base. "I want my property returned immediately. The beast belongs to me. I have legal claim under Vorthak law." Chen listened to the translation while Apex sat beside him, ears forward and alert. The lion seemed to recognize his former owner's voice. A low growl rumbled in his chest. "You have stolen from the royal house," the princess continued. "Return my hunting animal, or face the consequences." Colonel Harper turned off the radio. "Diplomatic channels are already working on this, Sergeant, but she's not waiting for an answer." Through the base windows, Chen could see alien ships landing in the jungle. Not military vessels this time, but sleek hunting craft with advanced sensors and tracking equipment. Princess Zalthyra had brought a private army of bounty hunters and alien mercenaries. "How many?" Chen asked. "At least 50 contacts, professional hunters with military-grade equipment. They're setting up a perimeter around our position." Chen knew what this meant. The princess was not interested in negotiating. She wanted her lion back, and she was willing to fight a small war to get him. "Sir, request permission to take Apex and move into the jungle. We can't defend him here without putting the whole base at risk." The colonel nodded grimly. "Approved. Take whatever supplies you need. We'll try to hold their attention here while you disappear." An hour later, Chen and Apex were deep in the alien forest. Chen carried enough food and ammunition for a week, But he knew they were facing impossible odds. 50 professional hunters against one human soldier and a lion, no matter how smart that lion was. But Apex had other ideas. The lion led Chen through paths that were invisible to human eyes, hidden trails that wound between massive trees and over streams that would wash away their scent. Apex seemed to know this forest better than anyone should, considering he had been the princess's prisoner for months. "How do you know where we're going?" Chen whispered. Apex paused and looked back at him. Then the lion walked to a nearby tree and scratched the bark with his claws. Chen saw marks underneath, old scratches that formed patterns. Someone had been marking trails in this forest for a long time. "You've been here before," Chen realized. "She brought you here to hunt." Apex nodded. Actually nodded like a human. The intelligence implants had given him more than just enhanced senses. They had given him the ability to plan and remember. For the next 3 days, Chen and Apex played a deadly game of cat and mouse with the hunting party. But they were not the mice. The first alien hunter died when he stepped on a pit trap that Apex had remembered from previous hunts. The second died when Chen shot him from a tree branch that the lion had guided him to. The hunters realized they were not chasing helpless prey, but something much more dangerous. "The human and the beast fight as one," reported one of the surviving hunters. "They know our movements before we make them." Princess Zalthyra was not impressed. "They are animals. Use the heavy mechs." The mechanical hunting suits were 12 feet tall and armed with energy weapons. They could track heat signatures and follow scent trails that no normal creature could hide. But Apex was not normal. The lion led Chen to a clearing where the mechs would have to bunch together to follow. Then Apex did something that amazed Chen. The lion climbed into the trees and began jumping from branch to branch, making noise and leaving scent trails. He was drawing the mechs into a trap. Chen understood the plan immediately. While Apex led the mechanical suits in circles, Chen planted explosives at the base of several large trees. When the mechs were in position, Chen triggered the charges. 6 massive trees fell at once, crushing 3 of the mechanical suits and trapping the others in a tangle of branches and twisted metal. The surviving pilots had to cut their way out on foot, and that made them easy targets for Chen's rifle. "Impossible!" Princess Zalthyra screamed when she received the report. "How can one human and one animal defeat my best hunters?" Her chief tracker, a scarred veteran named Vex, tried to explain. "Princess, the beast knows our hunting methods. It has learned our weaknesses during its time as your prisoner. And the human—" Vex paused. "The human fights like no soldier I have seen. He protects the animal as if it were his own child. Then we take the human alive and use him to control the beast," the princess decided. "Apex will obey if his new master is threatened." But Princess Zalthyra did not understand the bond between Chen and his companion. When the hunters finally cornered them in an ancient ruin, Apex made a choice that surprised everyone. The lion charged directly at the hunters, roaring with fury that shook the stone walls. He did not attack to kill, but to create chaos and confusion. In the madness that followed, Chen was able to escape deeper into the ruins. "The beast sacrificed itself for the human," Vex reported in amazement. "It chose capture over allowing its partner to be taken." Princess Zalthyra smiled for the first time in days. "Excellent. Now we have leverage." But she had made a mistake. The ruins where Apex was captured were not random. The lion had led the hunters to a specific place for a specific reason. As Chen explored the ancient chambers alone, he began to understand why. The walls were covered with carvings that made his blood run cold. Images of alien ships taking animals from many different worlds. Pictures of surgical procedures and enhancement experiments. And in the deepest chamber, something that made Chen's anger burn like fire in his chest. Cages. Hundreds of empty cages that had once held Earth's most magnificent creatures. lions, tigers, wolves, eagles, dolphins, all taken from their home world to become toys for alien nobles. But some of the cages were not empty. In the shadows, Chen saw eyes watching him, glowing eyes that belonged to creatures that should have been dead for decades. Apex had not just led Chen to any ruins. He had led him to Princess Zalthyra's secret breeding facility, where she kept her most valuable specimens hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Chen was no longer alone in enemy territory. He was surrounded by an army of Earth's apex predators, all of them enhanced, all of them angry, and all of them waiting for someone to open their cages. The hunt was about to become much more interesting. The cages stretched into darkness like a nightmare made real. Chen moved through the hidden facility with his rifle ready, but the glowing eyes that watched him from the shadows showed no hostility. These creatures recognized something in him, something that told them he was different from their alien captors. In the first cage, Chen found a massive grizzly bear with silver scars along its skull. The bear's eyes held intelligence that no natural animal should possess. When Chen approached, the creature pressed its nose against the bars and made a soft whining sound. The next cage held two wolves, their fur marked with the same surgical scars. Beyond them were eagles with wingspans that seemed impossible, panthers with muscles like steel cables, and in the largest enclosure, a family of gorillas that watched Chen with disturbingly human expressions. "What did they do to you?" Chen whispered. At the sound of his voice, many of the animals moved closer to their cage doors. They seemed to understand his words, just as Apex did. The implants had not just enhanced their bodies and senses. They had given Earth's predators the ability to think like humans while keeping all their natural hunting instincts. Chen found the control panel for the electronic locks, but before he could make a decision about freeing the animals, footsteps echoed from the tunnel behind him. Princess Zalthyra's voice carried through the darkness, speaking in her own language to someone Chen could not see. He hid behind one of the larger cages as the alien princess entered the chamber. She was not alone. Beside her walked a figure that made Chen's blood turn to ice. The shape looked human at first glance, but something was wrong with its movements. It walked too smoothly, turned its head too far, and when it spoke, the voice had no emotion at all. "The specimen is secured in holding cell 7, Princess," the fake human said. "It shows remarkable loyalty to the soldier who freed it. This confirms your theory about bonding potential." "Excellent," Princess Zalthyra replied in perfect English. "Begin preparation for the enhancement procedure. I want this human ready for the demonstration." Chen realized with horror that the fake human was one of his own species, but changed by alien technology into something else entirely. The enhancement procedure was not just for animals. "The Earth Project has exceeded all expectations," the princess continued as they walked through the facility. "Humans form emotional bonds with other species more readily than any race we have encountered. They will make perfect controllers for our enhanced armies." She stopped in front of a wall covered with star charts. Chen could see Earth clearly marked among dozens of other worlds, all connected by red lines that looked like invasion routes. Phase 1 was collecting breeding stock from Earth's apex predators, the princess explained to her converted human servant. Phase 2 was the enhancement experiments to increase intelligence and physical capabilities. Now we begin Phase 3. "The harvest," the converted human said without any feeling in its voice. "Precisely. We will take 1 million humans from Earth and enhance them as we enhanced you. They will become the controllers for our biological weapons. Each human will bond with multiple enhanced predators, creating the most effective hunting packs the galaxy has ever seen." Chen felt sick. The aliens were not just stealing Earth's animals. They were planning to turn humanity itself into a weapon against the rest of the galaxy. Worse, they would use humanity's greatest strength against them: the ability to form bonds with other species would make humans into the perfect slave masters for an army of enhanced predators. "What about the remaining human population?" the converted human asked. Princess Zalthyra smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "They will serve as breeding stock and food for the enhanced specimens. Earth will become the greatest hunting preserve in the galaxy, with humans as both the hunters and the hunted." Chen had heard enough. He began moving toward the communications equipment he could see at the far end of the chamber. If he could send a warning to Earth, maybe humanity could prepare for what was coming. But Princess Zalthyra was still talking, and her next words stopped Chen in his tracks. "The best part," she said, "is that humans will do most of the work themselves. Their emotional bonds with the enhanced animals are so strong that they will obey any order to protect their companions. The soldier we captured today will become our most effective demonstration. When we threaten his lion, he will do anything we command." Chen understood the trap now. Apex had not just led the hunters to this facility. He had sacrificed himself to give Chen the chance to learn the truth. The lion knew about the princess's larger plan and wanted Chen to warn Earth before it was too late. But first, Chen had to rescue his partner. He found Apex in a reinforced cell at the center of the facility. The lion was chained to the wall with energy restraints that would shock him if he moved too much. But Apex was not trying to escape. When he saw Chen, the lion's eyes showed relief and something else. Pride. "You found them," Chen whispered. "You wanted me to see what she's really doing." Apex made a soft rumbling sound that meant yes. Chen looked around the cell and saw alien equipment that made his stomach turn. Surgical tools, brain scanners, and injection devices that would be used to turn him into another emotionless slave like the converted human. "We need to get out of here and warn Earth," Chen said, "but I can't leave the others." Apex's expression changed. The lion looked toward the chamber full of caged animals, then back at Chen. The message was clear. Free them all. Chen knew it was impossible. Even enhanced, Earth's predators would be no match for Princess Zalthyra's advanced technology and trained soldiers. But as he looked into Apex's intelligent eyes, Chen realized that his partner had already thought of that problem. The lion was not planning an escape. He was planning a war. Chen checked his equipment and ammunition. He had enough explosives to damage the facility, but not enough to destroy it completely. Unless... He looked at the power generators that fed energy to all the cages and enhancement equipment. If he could overload them, the explosion would bring down the entire underground complex, but the timing would have to be perfect. "When I open these cages," Chen told Apex quietly, "it's going to be chaos. Are you ready?" The lion stood up despite the energy restraints. His eyes burned with the fury of every Earth creature that had been stolen from their home world. Chen smiled grimly and reached for the main control panel. It was time to show Princess Zalthyra why humanity had become the dominant species on Earth. Chen's finger hovered over the emergency release button. Around him, dozens of Earth's apex predators waited in their cages, their enhanced intelligence allowing them to understand that something important was about to happen. 3 minutes, Chen whispered to Apex. "That's how long we have before this place explodes." The lion nodded once, then let out a roar that shook the entire facility. It was not a roar of pain or fear. It was a battle cry that spoke to something deep in the genetic memory of every Earth creature in the chamber. Chen pressed the button. Every cage door slammed open at once. The emergency release system that Princess Zalthyra had installed for her own safety became the instrument of her downfall. Bears, wolves, eagles, panthers, and gorillas poured out of their prisons with the fury of species that had been enslaved for too long. But they did not attack randomly. The enhancement implants had given them tactical awareness to match their natural hunting instincts. The wolves formed packs and moved to block escape routes. The bears charged the alien guards with unstoppable force. The eagles took to the air and attacked the facility's communication equipment, and Apex led them all. The lion's energy restraints shattered as he broke free from the cell. Chen had never seen anything so magnificent or terrifying as Apex in full combat mode. 400 pounds of enhanced predator moving with intelligence, purpose, and righteous anger. Princess Zalthyra's voice echoed through the facility's speakers. "Seal all exits! Do not let them escape!" But her alien soldiers had never faced anything like this. They were used to hunting helpless animals or fighting enemies that followed predictable military tactics. Earth's enhanced predators fought with a combination of animal cunning and human-level planning that the aliens could not understand or counter. Chen ran toward the communications chamber while the battle raged around him. He needed to send a warning to Earth before the facility exploded. But Princess Zalthyra was waiting for him, standing beside the transmitter in her powered combat armor. "You think you have won, human?" she snarled. "Even if you destroy this facility, I have others. I have an entire fleet waiting to harvest your species." Chen raised his rifle, but the princess was faster. Her armor's weapons systems locked onto him before he could fire. They stood facing each other while chaos erupted in the chamber behind them. "Your lion is impressive," the princess admitted. "But he is still my property. I created him. I can destroy him just as easily." She activated a device on her wrist, and Apex suddenly collapsed in the middle of the battle. The lion writhed in pain as the implants in his brain sent electric shocks through his nervous system. The other Earth animals saw their leader fall and hesitated in their attack. "All of them have kill switches," Princess Zalthyra explained. "One command from me, and every enhanced animal in this facility dies. Surrender now, or watch your precious companions suffer." Chen looked at Apex, who was struggling to stand despite the pain. The lion's eyes met his, and Chen saw something that surprised him. Apex was not asking for help. He was asking for permission. "Do it," Chen said quietly. Apex smiled. Chen had never seen a lion smile before, but there was no other word for the expression on his companion's face. Then the big cat roared again, and this time every Earth animal in the facility roared with him. The sound was not just noise, it was communication. The enhanced predators had been planning this moment since the cages first opened. While Princess Zalthyra focused on Chen and Apex, the other animals had been working together with the precision of a military unit. The wolves had found the facility's power relays. The bears had located the support pillars that held up the chamber ceiling. The gorillas had gathered every piece of alien equipment they could carry, and the eagles had been mapping the facility's weaknesses from above. Princess Zalthyra realized her mistake too late. She tried to activate more kill switches, but the wolves had already destroyed the control systems. She aimed her weapons at Apex, but the gorillas threw heavy equipment that knocked her off balance. "Now!" Chen shouted. He did not mean now to attack. He meant now to run. The facility's power generators were about to overload completely. Chen had set the charges, but the enhanced animals had made their own improvements to his plan. The bears had weakened the structural supports. The wolves had redirected the power flow to create a bigger explosion. The eagles had identified the exact spots where the ceiling would collapse to trap any survivors. Chen grabbed Apex, who was still weak from the neural attacks, and ran for the emergency tunnel that the gorillas had found. Behind them, Princess Zalthyra's screams of rage echoed through the collapsing facility. They made it to the surface just as the underground complex exploded. The blast was bigger than Chen had planned, much bigger. Trees fell for miles around as the ground shook like an earthquake. When the smoke cleared, there was nothing left of the breeding facility except a crater filled with twisted metal and broken stone. But Princess Zalthyra was not dead. Her combat armor had protected her from the explosion, though she was badly injured. Chen found her crawling through the rubble trying to reach her communication device. "You have accomplished nothing," she gasped. "The fleet will still come. Earth will burn." Chen knelt beside her and picked up the communication device. With Apex standing guard, he began transmitting everything they had learned to Human Colonial Command. Details about the invasion fleet, the enhancement procedures, the planned harvest of humanity. "Earth will be ready," Chen told the dying princess. "Thanks to you, we know exactly what's coming." Princess Zalthyra laughed bitterly. "You think your primitive weapons can stop us? We have technology you cannot imagine." "Maybe," Chen admitted, "but we have something you don't understand." "What is that?" Chen looked at Apex and the other Earth animals who had survived the explosion. They were all looking at him with expressions of loyalty and trust that no amount of alien technology could create or control. "We earn our friendships," Chen said simply. "We don't steal them." 6 months later, Chen stood in the African savanna watching the sunset paint the sky gold and red. Beside him, Apex lay contentedly in the grass, while 3 lion cubs played nearby. They were Apex's children, born naturally without enhancement, but carrying their father's intelligence and his fierce loyalty to humans. The alien invasion had come, just as Princess Zalthyra promised. But Earth was ready. Enhanced animals from the breeding facility had spread across the globe, forming partnerships with human soldiers and sharing their knowledge of alien technology and tactics. The war was not over, but humanity was winning. And they were not fighting alone. In the distance, Chen could see other partnerships that had grown from the seeds of friendship. A pack of enhanced wolves worked with a team of forest rangers. A family of gorillas helped scientists decode alien technology. Eagles with their enhanced vision served as scouts for the human military. Princess Zalthyra had been wrong about one thing. She thought she could use humanity's ability to bond with other species as a weakness. Instead, she had given Earth the greatest advantage any world could have in a galactic war. An army united not by force or fear, but by friendship and mutual respect. Chen scratched behind Apex's ears as the stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Somewhere up there, alien fleets still threatened Earth, but here on the ground, a human and a lion watched over their cubs together, and that simple bond was stronger than any weapon the galaxy could produce. "Ready for another adventure, partner?" Chen asked. Apex looked at him with those wise yellow eyes and made a sound that definitely meant always.